Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Last Week Tonight. Tonight, we're diving into the wild world of sovereign wealth funds. Imagine a giant piggy bank, but instead of loose change, it's overflowing with billions, even trillions of dollars. These behemoth funds are owned and managed by governments, and they've been making waves in the global economy. Sovereign wealth funds are like the cool kids on the block, with over 90 countries already on board. These funds invest in everything from stocks and bonds to real estate and infrastructure. They're like the diversified investment portfolio your financial advisor keeps telling you to build, but on a scale that would make Warren Buffett blush. One of the most famous examples is Norway's sovereign wealth fund, fueled by the country's oil riches. They've amassed a fortune that would make Scrooge McDuck jealous, all thanks to their prudent investments. And then there's Saudi Arabia, sitting on a mountain of petrodollars, using their sovereign wealth fund to diversify their economy and secure their financial future. Now, the United States, a country that loves a good financial power move, has decided it wants in on the action. That's right, folks, America is jumping on the sovereign wealth fund bandwagon, and as with everything else, they're aiming to build the biggest, baddest fund the world has ever seen. In a move that surprised absolutely no one, former President Donald Trump signed an executive order in 2025 to establish a US sovereign wealth fund. You know how Trump loves to be the biggest and the best at everything? Well, he made it clear that this fund was going to be one of the biggest in the world. Now, you might be thinking, wait, doesn't the US already have a massive budget deficit? Where are they going to get the money for this? And that, my friends, is the million-dollar question, or should I say the trillion-dollar question. The funding source for this ambitious project remains as clear as mud. Trump, always the master of vagueness, initially suggested using tariffs as a potential revenue stream. Remember those trade wars he was so fond of? Well, he figured why not put all that tariff money to good use, right? Another idea he floated was monetizing government assets. Now, we're not talking about selling off national parks or auctioning off the White House lawn, although knowing Trump, anything's possible. We're talking about potentially selling stakes in government-owned enterprises or leasing out federal lands for development. Of course, critics were quick to point out the potential downsides. Selling off assets could be seen as a short-sighted move, sacrificing long-term value for a quick buck. And relying on tariffs as a primary funding source could backfire spectacularly, potentially triggering a global trade war. Section 4, the timeline for establishment and main objectives. So, when can we expect this financial behemoth to rise like a phoenix from the ashes of America's budget deficit? Well, according to former Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, the goal was to have the fund up and running within a year. Yes, you heard that right, a year. Because apparently creating a multi-trillion-dollar investment fund is as easy as ordering takeout. As for the fund's objectives, Mnuchin claimed it would be used to benefit the American people. Now, that's a phrase that could mean a whole lot of things. Will it be used to fund social programs, invest in infrastructure, or simply grow larger and larger? A monument to American financial might, only time will tell. Time. Section 5, the TikTok twist, a sovereign fund shopping spree. Now, let's talk about everyone's favorite social media app, TikTok. You know, the one where teenagers dance and lip-sync their way to internet fame. Well, TikTok found itself in the crosshairs of the Trump administration, which threatened to ban the app due to national security concerns. Why? Because it's owned by a Chinese company, and we all know how much Trump loves a good economic standoff with China. But here's where things get interesting. Trump, never one to miss an opportunity, suggested that the newly established sovereign wealth fund could buy TikTok. Yes, you heard that right. The US government, using taxpayer money, could become the proud owner of a social media platform known for its dance challenges and viral trends. Of course, the idea was met with a healthy dose of skepticism and ridicule. Critics argued that the government had no business meddling in the tech industry, let alone owning a social media platform. But hey, stranger things have happened, right? Section 6. Global Titans comparing sovereign wealth funds worldwide. So, how does the proposed US sovereign wealth fund stack up against the global competition? Well, it's like comparing a newborn baby to a seasoned weightlifter. Existing sovereign wealth funds like those in Norway, Saudi Arabia and China have been around for decades, amassing trillions of dollars in assets. They have established track records, experienced management teams, and a clear understanding of the global investment landscape. The US, on the other hand, is a relative newbie in the sovereign wealth fund game. They're starting from scratch, with no track record, no experienced team, and a whole lot of uncertainty surrounding their investment strategy. It's like entering the Olympics without ever having participated in a single track and field event. Section 7 conclusion: uncertain waters, navigating the future of the US sovereign fund. So, what does the future hold for the US sovereign wealth fund? Will it become the global investment powerhouse that Trump envisioned, or will it flounder in a sea of uncertainty and mismanagement? Only time will tell. The fund faces numerous challenges, from securing reliable funding sources to developing a coherent investment strategy. It also has to navigate the treacherous waters of geopolitics, as its investments will undoubtedly be scrutinized for their potential political ramifications. One thing's for sure, the establishment of a US sovereign wealth fund is a bold move, one that could have far-reaching consequences for the global economy. Whether those consequences are positive or negative remains to be seen. And on that cautiously optimistic note, we'll leave you to ponder the uncertain future of the US sovereign wealth fund. Until next time, stay